everyone, it's Miss Joyce. Today we'll be multiplying decimals using unit form. Let's start by multiplying 5 times 3/10. The first step is to rewrite each factor in unit form, lining them up vertically, which means one on top of the other. So we're going to write 5 ones, since the 5 is in the ones place, and 3/10, since the 3 is in the tenths place. Let's start by multiplying the numbers. 5 times 3 is 15. Now we can multiply the place values. Ones times tenths. Well, we know that anytime we multiply anything by ones, it's always the other factor. So ones times tenths is tenths. Now let's rewrite the product, or our answer, in standard form. We can use our place value chart to help us. So we're going to place 15 tenths in our place value chart. Since the 5 is the last digit, that 5 is going to go in the tenths place. The 1 is regrouped to the ones place. Remember, the decimal point always goes between the ones and the tenths place. So our final answer is 1 and 5/10. Let's try another problem. Here we're going to multiply 4 times 13/100. The first step is we're going to rewrite each factor in unit form, lining them up vertically, which means one on top of the other. I like to place the number that has the most amount of digits on top. So since 13/100 has more digits, it has two digits, 1 and 3, we're going to place that on top first. So 13/100 times 4 ones, since the 4 is in the ones place. Now we're going to multiply the numbers. So what we'll do is we're going to first multiply 4 times 3. So 4 times 3 is 12. That means we're going to place the 2 down here, and we're going to regroup the 1 all the way to the top in the next place value. Now we can multiply 4 times 1, which is 4, and then add the 1 that we regrouped. So 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. Now let's multiply the place values. We're going to multiply hundredths times ones. Whenever we're multiplying by ones, our answer is always the other factor. So hundredths times ones is hundredths. Now let's rewrite the product in standard form. We can use our place value chart to help us. We're going to place 52 hundredths in the place value chart. So since the 2 in 52 is the last digit, that's going to go in the hundredths place. The 5 is regrouped to the tenths place. There's nothing in the ones place, so we can place a 0. Now remember, the decimal point always goes between the ones and the tenths place. So our answer is 0 and 52 hundredths. Let's try one more problem together. Finally, let's multiply 5 times 0 and 123 thousandths. First step is to rewrite each factor in unit form, lining them up vertically or one on top of the other. Since our second factor, 123 thousandths, has more digits in it, let's write that number first. Since the 3 is in the thousands place, we're going to write 123 thousandths. The 5 is in the ones place, so we're going to write 5 ones underneath. Now let's multiply the numbers. So first we're going to multiply 5 times 3. We know that 5 times 3 is 15, so we're going to place the 5 at the bottom and regroup the 1 to the next place value. Now let's multiply 5 times 2, and then we'll add the 1 that we regrouped. 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 1 we regrouped is 11. So we'll place the 1 at the bottom and regroup the other 1 to the next place value. Finally, let's multiply 5 times 1 and then add the 1 that we regrouped. 5 times 1 is 5, plus the 1 we regrouped is 6. So here we have 615, and now we're going to multiply the place values. So we're going to be multiplying thousandths times ones. Well, remember, whenever we multiply by ones, the answer is always the other factor. So thousandths times ones is thousandths. Now let's rewrite the product in standard form. We can use this place value chart to help us. So we're going to place 615 thousandths in the place value chart. Since the 5 is the last digit, that's the number that's going to go in the thousands place. The 1 is regrouped to the hundredths place, and the 6 is regrouped to the tenths place. Since there's nothing in the ones place, we can put 0 ones. Remember, the decimal point always goes between the ones and the tenths place. So we can put the decimal point here between the 0 and 6. So 5 times 0 and 123 thousandths is 0 and 615 thousandths. Let's take a look at all the answers we've gotten. For all the problems we did earlier, each of these answers is smaller than the number we started with. 1 and 5 tenths is smaller than 5. 52 hundredths is smaller than 4. And 615 thousandths is smaller than 5. This is because we're multiplying by a number that is less than 1. Each of these second factors are smaller than 1. Whenever we're multiplying by 1, our answer is the same that we started with. But since we're multiplying by a number that's smaller than 1, our answer is going to be smaller than the number we started with.